looked outside the window and saw the smoke and kind of figured that was why.
Dealing with intense heat and air quality ranked among the worst in the world.
Wildfire smoke blows in and blankets our city. Tonight, the uncomfortable and concerning conditions. Good evening. We begin with Toronto's iconic skyline, nearly unrecognizable today.
The heavy haze and heat prompting weather warnings and advisories. CTV's John Musselman joins us live with the details. John.
Well, Nathan, it was pretty bad earlier today. It's gotten a lot better. In fact, so much so that Environment Canada has downgraded that air quality statement. But still, people are taking it easy in this heat and this humidity.
Hot, humid summer days in Toronto often look like this, but there's a difference today. The haze seems thicker and there's a smell of smoke in the air.
You notice it, but you know what? You can't stay inside. You know, you have to get out and just, I'm not saying go out for 2 or 3 hours. At least take advantage of the nice weather. We don't get it for long.
Like it felt there was something burnt in the air.
Yeah.
And it does. And it is hazy. So it's sort of labored breathing a bit.
It's all connected to the forest fires over northern Ontario. That smoke has moved into our region.
I didn't feel something like this, but yes, I can see it.
Environment Canada says the air quality warning has been downgraded to a special air quality statement. Toronto's air quality ranks second worst in the world at one point today, according to data from the Swiss Air Quality Tracker.
This is a direct consequence of climate change. It's getting warmer, it's getting hotter, the fire season is longer, it's getting drier during the summer.
We are seeing forecasted daytime highs of 31 degrees Celsius, and it's feeling closer to 40 with the humidity.
Certainly a very hot day in store for the next few days. We're looking at temperatures in the low 30s over the next 3 days for Toronto. 31 today, 32 tomorrow, and 31 on Wednesday. And it's going to feel even hotter than that with the humidex and the humidity values. So we might see a little bit of relief on Thursday and then some improvement on Friday and into the weekend.
I'm going to try to get in the lake and go for a little swim and just maybe do some indoor activities today as opposed to being outside all day.
It's a little thick in the air today, so I'm taking it easy.
It's very nice. No, we can enjoy and we can do many things in family.
With these conditions, the city has deployed its heat plan. Swimming pools are offering extended hours, and people can seek relief at civic centers and libraries. And more than 100 additional shelter spaces have been opened to help the homeless. Working in this heat is not easy. Ron was making sure to stay hydrated.
Well, not only water, but electrolytes, so it's mostly Gatorade and stuff like that.
And many are seeking relief at city area beaches. There was a cool breeze off the lake at Sunnyside Park today that made it a bit more bearable. Still, the heat and humidity will be sticking around for a few more days.
So Michelle, Nathan, I can tell you that there's a nice breeze here off the lake. The air quality is a bit better, but we're still going to have to get through another 2 or 3 days of this heat and humidity. Reporting live from the scene, I'm John Musselman. I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, John. And the city is taking steps to try and help residents beat this heat. The mayor attending the launch of a program to provide air conditioning units for low-income seniors.
We know that the last heat wave, number of people went to the hospital, and many deaths were recorded in the last 10, 20 years because of heat waves. So having air conditioning help, especially for the most vulnerable.
This is a pilot program that will see 500 air conditioner units installed. Those lucky enough to get one say it is a big relief.
It's been hotter than you know what in here. I keep my blinds and my windows closed and my fan pointed at me, and it's almost tolerable. Yeah. When it gets too bad, I go down to the common room. It has air conditioning.
The city says applicants were selected in a randomized draw. The program does not cover the cost of electricity.
And time now for a check on the forecast. Here's a live look at the city. You can see the haze. We've been talking about it throughout the newscast, the air quality, and all the concerns that come with it. Let's bring in Lindsay Morrison with a look at how things are now. And John was saying that things are getting a little bit better.
Yeah, there has been an improvement today, Nathan. You know, at its worst, which was late this morning and early afternoon, we were off the charts as far as the air quality health index is concerned. There was also a rare air quality warning in effect for the city of Toronto. That has come to an end. Look how widespread, though, the air quality, the special statement is. We're at an 8 now on the air quality health index, and we're looking at a 6 tonight and into tomorrow. So that's good news, some improvement. But this is a bit of a 1-2 punch because, yes, we've got the heat and the humidity. Heat warning actually expanded today to include areas further to the north. Not as hot today as it was over the weekend, but it still feels like the mid-30s. We've got clear skies aside from that haze. And tonight, we're actually just going to slip slightly below 20 degrees, which is good news for those who have found it quite uncomfortable for sleeping the last few nights. However, the heat persists. We'll talk all about it in your forecast coming up. Nathan, I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Toronto Hydro says it's seeing an increased demand for electricity because of the intense heat, but the power grid remains reliable. The utility says it anticipated the added strain on the system and has taken steps to minimize the impact. That includes pushing back non-critical work.
Also tonight, she immigrated to Canada just last year. A young woman out with a friend on a Friday in Hamilton, caught in the middle of gunfire and killed. We'll have the latest on the search for a wanted teen.
But first, we turn to dramatic video of a fire that lit up the sky in Scarborough.
It's a blaze police say was deliberately set, and we've obtained security video of the crime as it unfolded. CTV's Janice Golding joins us now from Shepherd and McCowan with the story. Janice.
Hi, yes, Michelle. Toronto police are investigating an arson that took place here in the Shepherd and McCowan area overnight at an auto body shop. CTV News has obtained video of the crime, and we're going to show that to you right now. Surveillance video shows 2 men prowling around the back lot at Next Gear Auto at 2:02 a.m. They're carrying red jerry cans full of fuel, gasoline they'll spend the next 7 minutes splashing over and alongside the parked vehicles.
I have no clue. What is their intention of the people, what they're doing? I have no clue at all.
For the next 4 minutes, they'll try to set the cars ablaze, lighting rags and tossing them at vehicles to no avail, until finally they toss what appears to be a Molotov cocktail, which lands in a puddle of accelerant, and the blaze starts in earnest.
That is absolutely terrible. There is no word can describe that. So what I'm going through, what I'm feeling in my life.
High above from an apartment building across the street, you can see the flames coloring the night sky, engulfing 13 cars total, according to the body shop's owner.
You had to think about that. You had a malicious intent and woke up and thought, I'm going to burn these cars. I'm going to take away someone's property.
By light of day, you can see the devastation left behind. Several cars fully gutted by flames, many others with varying degrees of damage.
Jump here, I can go down the car, he cut the car, the muffler, steering rim, tire, some parts from the car.
Many in the auto park, like neighbor Joseph Dreef, describing a feeling of helplessness today.
It's happened like always here or everywhere we can happen like that. Here, some people come always, they jump up the fence, steal stuff from outside, cutting the cat, do some stealing battery.
It used to be when the catalytic converters were a big problem. They were coming in on these, hitting these trucks and that. But then again, they've got enhanced security in here, so that pretty much we don't get too much of that going on lately.
I think it's a terrible situation and it's not nice.
While neighboring businesses wonder about a motive, Toronto police are busy looking for 2 suspects. Meanwhile, Danny Urathiran is busy fielding calls from clients worried about their cars, even as he worries about the bigger picture.
Financial impact is a ruin.
Ruin?
Yeah.
Do you think you're going to be able to survive this?
I don't know. I'm a fighter.
The future of Urathiran's business potentially up in flames after more than 15 years in operation. Danny says his lot holds up to 50 cars, so he's grateful more cars were not damaged. Toronto police are asking anyone who might have any information to contact them as soon as possible. Reporting live, I'm Janice Golding. Now back to Michelle.
Thank you, Janice. Meantime, police have released images of a suspect in an arson in the Beaches. Police say the person pictured here set fire to a building in the area of Queen Street and Winneba Avenue, just east of Woodbine, around 3:30 yesterday morning. 4 people were inside the building at the time, but all managed to get out safely. Police are asking anyone with information to come forward.
In Hamilton, police have identified a teenage suspect in the deadly shooting of a woman investigators say was an innocent bystander.
26-year-old Belinda Sarkodie was killed after she was struck by a stray bullet while walking home Friday afternoon. CTV's Allison Hurst spoke to her brother today.
Bullet holes puncture a downtown Hamilton sign at the site of a deadly shooting that killed an innocent bystander.
I heard firing after each other, toof, 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 toof. Yeah, then I see people running, and then I went inside, then I hide.
A man in his early 20s suffered non-life-threatening injuries and was taken to hospital. But 26-year-old Belinda Sarkodie was killed in the gunfire.
Belinda is such a kind person with a good heart. If something goes wrong, she's the only one that I will call in, and I'll tell her. She will be like, "Oh, no, this happened in the Bible. This too shall pass," and we'll just laugh, and then we'll be okay.
Sarkodie's brother says they also have a sister, but she was the youngest and her mom's best friend. But just the two of them live in Canada, and he says they spoke on the phone every day, especially Fridays, which were her days off.
I tried calling her throughout the night, and no one was answering the phone.
Police have identified the suspect as 17-year-old Mikhail Lavoie, obtaining an order to release his photo despite the fact he's a youth, saying he's facing charges of second-degree murder and attempted murder ×2.
Investigators are actively looking for Mikhail and encourage him to reach out to his lawyer and make arrangements to turn himself in.
Investigators say he met 3 individuals downtown who they believe were the intended targets. They allege he opened fire around 5:30 near James and King Streets, striking one of them and Sarkodie before fleeing the area on foot.
I don't believe we have any information to suggest he was meeting with anybody. It looks like maybe he had encountered 3 people.
Sarkodie arrived in Canada last year from Ghana.
She's a lady who has aspirations. She was very enthusiastic about what she wanted to accomplish in this country.
Colleagues of hers showed up at the scene Friday night, saying she'd been waiting for the bus with a boy they know.
He turned back to tell her, "Do you hear gunshots?" So when he turned back to look at her, she was just lying on the floor full of blood.
Grace Nasiru said she'd known Sarkodie for 7 months.
She's a likable person. Her bosses likes her at work. Everyone around her likes her.
Richard Sarkodie says his sister was planning to move to be with him in Manitoba in the near future.
I moved out from where I was, and then she was about to join me in a few months' time, and this tragedy happened, and yeah, it's not been easy.
Not been easy for a family ripped apart by tragedy. Allison Hurst, CTV News.
Toronto police have arrested a man in connection with the killing of 2 of his own relatives last year. 34-year-old Joseph Ayala was arrested today in Etobicoke. He was wanted on 2 counts of second-degree murder in connection with the deaths of his mother and grandmother, 82-year-old Colleen Fraser and 60-year-old Sharon Fraser. The pair were found dead in a home near Sheldon and Silvercrest Avenue last August. The cause of their deaths haven't been released. Ayala is scheduled to appear in court tomorrow morning.
A CTV News investigation is shedding light on a type of car theft where thieves don't even have to take your vehicle.
As CTV's John Woodward reports, the culprits in one case in Oakville appear to have made a profit while the car was still in the dealer's showroom.
Luxury vehicles usually fly off the lot in this Oakville car dealership.
So to get into a car like this.
But when the dealer, Doug, who's asked us not to use his last name, tried to lease a Mercedes G-squared like this one, he had a problem with the province's auto registry.
Well, we go there, go to put it in transfer, they say, sorry, this car doesn't belong to you. Meanwhile, it's been sitting in our showroom, or in the back at least. It's been sitting here for quite a while.
Documents showed the car had been transferred to another company in 2020. Documents Doug knew were forged.
Well, there's 35,000 kilometers on it, which for sure isn't our car because our car had no kilometers on it.
Your car was a new car in the showroom.
Exactly.
Doug believes at some point thieves entered the showroom just to get the car's vehicle identification number so they could use it to register another car that had been stolen and sell it.
They took our serial number and put it on a stolen car.
Each car has its own vehicle identification number, and if someone puts this car's number on another car, then two cars with the same vehicle identification number, something's wrong.
CTV News followed the trail in their paperwork. It led to a man who was initially charged in a shooting in Yorkville in 2016, though Toronto police admitted in legal filings the charges were dropped after mistakes in the investigation. We tried that man at several listed addresses, but he wasn't there. Since a wave of car theft that has swept the nation, the provincial government has tightened up its registry. Police have also laid several charges against Service Ontario workers. One worker, Tanisha Baird, was convicted earlier this year.
It's definitely a scenario where one VIN number is living two lives.
Carfax has added tools to help dealers and people figure out if their VIN has been cloned. But critics worry smart thieves are already finding new ways to defraud people.
It shouldn't be so easy for people to be able to steal a car, get it registered.
Doug isn't sure the registry worker made a mistake.
You'll never stop if they have someone that's crooked working in a license bureau, and that's what they've been combating.
With the help of the Toronto police, he proved the VIN number matched his Mercedes G-Squared and was able to transfer it to a customer. John Woodward, CTV News.
It's been 2 years since Mayor Olivia Chow took office at Toronto City Hall.
Now, new polling is shedding light on her chances of re-election. As CTV's Natalie Johnson reports, it could depend on whether a former mayor wants to reclaim the top job.
2 years after Olivia Chow was sworn in as mayor, the battle to unseat her has officially begun.
We go from a very sleepy race to a very competitive one very quickly. And of course, we've been hearing rumors that former Mayor John Tory is thinking about making a comeback.
That comeback question, part of a new poll by Liaison Strategies that suggests that in a hypothetical matchup between Chow and Tory, the race is close. Chow would win by 4% over the former mayor with 39% support of decided voters.
Gosh, this is, second week of July? You're talking about a year and 20, yeah, I know. My focus, especially right now, is the people that are going to be hot, and there's so much work that needs to be done.
Chow's approval rating, meanwhile, is at an all-time low of 51%, down from 59% this time last year.
I think it's competitive whether he gets in or whether he doesn't get in. Her approval ratings for mayor are running 20 points lower than what you would see historically for an incumbent mayor. That's got to be a concern to her.
But as for whether Tory will join the race, that remains to be seen. The former mayor was not commenting on the poll today. A few weeks ago, telling News Talk 1010 that he doesn't have any plans to run for mayor, at least at this point.
For John Tory, these numbers really present a headache. There's a very real shot that he could beat Olivia Chow, but he will face real hurdles of a kind that no other candidate will. He will be asked about his personal life. He will be asked about his departure from office. And those negatives that he's carrying around are sky high.
If Tory does not run, the Liaison poll suggests Chow's next closest competitor would be Councillor Brad Bradford, who would net 19% support among decided voters.
The mayor is the CEO of the city. We put a premium on confidence, and right now it feels like this city can't organize a two-car parade. I know we can do better, and I'm sure there's a lot of Torontonians that have an appetite for that type of change, that type of leadership.
I don't think it's going to be a showdown between Olivia Chow and John Tory. I think people will start paying a lot more attention probably as we hit the 1 year mark in October.
The campaign countdown already underway. Natalie Johnson, CTV News.
In Manitoba, more than 12,000 residents have been forced to leave their homes in the second wave of evacuations this summer. Officials gave an update this afternoon on the current wildfire situation.
As of today, there are 122 active fires burning in Manitoba. We've had 297 fires to date, and the 20-year average for today would be 217. Fire danger is moderate to high across the province today.
8 communities have been evacuated with no new orders to leave issued in the past 24 hours. There are currently 18 states of local emergency in the province. A wildfire in eastern Manitoba is now making its way into Ontario. There are about 60 wildfires in the northwestern part of our province. A quarter of them are out of control. Hundreds of people from First Nations have been forced from their homes.
Mark Carney has now disclosed to the Ethics Commissioner a fuller picture of his investments.
And today, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre criticized the Prime Minister for promises made about his financial assets and potential conflict of interest. CTV's Judy Trin reports.
There is a cornucopia of conflicts of interest in these investments.
The Conservative leader is raising concerns about the Prime Minister's business dealings in his past life. Before entering politics, Mark Carney sat on the boards of Brookfield Asset Management and Stripe, a credit card software company. He has millions of dollars of assets in the two companies, which he put in a blind trust.
I comply with my responsibilities. I comply with the rules well in advance.
New disclosures filed by Carney to the Ethics Commissioner revealed that Brookfield and Stripe own or control more than 100 other corporations, including clean energy businesses and real estate.
The list of potential conflicts goes on and on. How can he possibly be involved in developing a budget when all the tax policies could impact on his investments directly or indirectly?
The Commissioner's office says the Prime Minister's Chief of Staff, Marc-André Blanchard, and Privy Council Clerk, Michael Sabia, will be in charge of screening Carney's government decisions, which Carney says will prevent him from giving preferential treatment to any of the companies while he exercises his official powers and duties.
As long as they're invested in businesses while they're in public office, their investments will taint every decision and cause them to make decisions in their own interests, even if they claim not to be doing that.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre says the only way to ensure that the Prime Minister won't breach his ethical guidelines is for Mark Carney to sell all his assets, then hand over control of the funds to a trustee to invest. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
NATO and the US have reached a deal where alliance members will buy weapons from the United States and then transfer them to Ukraine. The American president also sent another message to Moscow today, warning of huge tariffs if the war isn't stopped. CTV's Abigail Beeman reports.
I think this is a chance at getting peace.
A bold claim and a big threat.
But we're very, very unhappy with them, and we're going to be doing very severe tariffs if we don't have a deal in 50 days, tariffs at about 100%.
U.S. President Donald Trump hosted NATO top boss Mark Rutte in the Oval Office, promising billions in military equipment, including Patriot missile defense systems purchased from the U.S. by NATO allies.
Germany, massively, but also Finland and Denmark and Sweden and Norway, the United Kingdom, the Netherlands, Canada. They all want to be part of this.
The Patriot system is viewed as kind of being a top tier one. So not just that he's going to provide support, which is a change in and of itself, but also that he's going to provide support with pretty advanced weaponry is beneficial.
Just ahead of the Oval Office meeting, President Volodymyr Zelensky hosted the U.S. Special Envoy for Ukraine in Kyiv.
Very positive for both countries. And just now we spoke about air defense.
You wouldn't want to be Zelensky in this because you don't know which day, the United States is going to support you. But it's a good news story for helping them thwart the advance.
In terms of sanctions, Russia has already been hit hard and U.S.-Russia trade is way down. But experts say secondary tariffs on other Russian buyers would make a difference.
When you see the largest importers of China and India being pummeled, that's where it's really going to hit Russia.
Separately, there is a U.S. Senate bill that looks at imposing 500% secondary tariffs on Russia. Trump said today that may not be necessary. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
The International Space Station's first visitors from India, Poland, and Hungary are heading back to Earth. The trio left the orbiting lab today. They conducted dozens of experiments during the private mission that began on June 25th. The astronauts' countries shared the cost, paying more than $65 million each. Splashdown is scheduled for tomorrow off the Southern California coast. The space station's 7 full-time residents remain in orbit.
Coming up, the link between obesity and the COVID-19 pandemic. A new report highlights the steep rise in weight gain among thousands of Canadians, the cause and the call for change.
And I'm Pat Foran. Coming up on Consumer Alert, are you planning a vacation anytime soon? If you are, you'll want to look before you book. One couple made a mistake booking their trip and ended up losing more than $4,000. I'll have that story. That's just ahead.
Well, even though conditions have improved, if you spent time outside today, you might have felt the smoke in your eyes, your nose, and your throat. It's a good evening to stay indoors with the windows closed tonight. This is a very stagnant air mass, but we do see further improvements coming over the next couple of days here. We'll talk about when we get some relief from the heat as well, just ahead in your 7-day forecast. And stay with us. We've got another full night of great shows for you right here on CTV.
Booking a vacation can be expensive, and you'll want to be extra careful entering your information to avoid mistakes.
A couple accidentally booked a resort stay, and when they canceled it, they were shocked to be denied a refund. Here's Pat Foran and Consumer Alert. Pat.
Thanks, Nathan and Michelle. The couple was celebrating their first anniversary and planned to go to Jamaica. They meant to book a resort with flights included. They accidentally just booked the hotel, and even though they canceled right away, they didn't get their money back. Lizanne Hasmatali of London and her husband have been married for 1 year, and in March they plan to go to Jamaica to celebrate the honeymoon they never had. But when they were online booking a resort, they made a mistake.
Right after we booked it, we realized that it just included the hotel option. So we canceled it immediately, and we were going to rebook it properly.
Hasmatali says after she canceled the booking with plans to rebook the same resort with airfare included, she was shocked to find out the booking was non-refundable and she would not be getting back almost $4,200 for the hotel stay.
They saw that we canceled within 10 minutes and it doesn't matter. What mattered is that it was non-refundable.
The couple had saved for the trip, so without a refund, they were unable to book the resort again and ended up having to stay home.
We spent this whole year saving for it, and then something as simple like this, as a simple mistake, you just lose it all.
The couple booked the trip through Expedia. A spokesperson told CTV News, if a traveler makes a mistake on a non-refundable booking, the decision whether or not to allow additional flexibility is up to the hotel.
It's so important to take your time when you're making a booking.
The Travel Industry Council of Ontario, TICO, says there is no cooling off period when booking a trip, so it's important to make sure you check the booking details carefully. Richard Smart says using a registered travel agent can help avoid mistakes. If you do book a trip yourself, check the refund policy.
Look before you book. Be very careful. Read those terms and conditions.
After CTV News reached out to Expedia, TICO did as well, and Expedia agreed to give the couple a full refund, saying we worked with the hotel to provide a refund as a one-time courtesy. That was great news for Hasmatali, who can now use the money towards a future vacation.
Thank you, CTV, for doing all that you did to help us get the money back. We're very grateful, and we're glad that it worked out.
When booking a vacation package, you may get a cheaper rate if the trip is non-refundable. Some hotels may charge a cancellation fee or give you a future credit. That's why it's important to look before you book. On your side, I'm Pat Foran.
If you have a consumer story idea, email us at alert@ctv.ca.
Well, Toronto's beautiful skyline shrouded in wildfire smoke today. 2 weather alerts.
Yeah, you don't know really what city that could be. Could be anywhere, it seems. But yeah, we've got advisories, alerts, but some improvement apparently.
Some improvement happened today, which is great. When we were on the air at noon today, we were under a very rare air quality warning here in the city of Toronto. We were off the charts when it came to the air quality health index at a 10+. And at one point, yes, we were also second worst city worldwide as far as air quality is concerned. We have improved since then, but here's what it looked like a little earlier on. Our CTV News chopper flying high above the city midway through the afternoon. So again, after there had been some improvement, but you can see still just how hazy it was and really how hazy it continues to be at this hour. A good evening to avoid strenuous outdoor activity. Made for a bit of a hazy day at the beach today too, because this is exactly the point. We're dealing with intense wildfire smoke that has drifted into southern Ontario, but it's also quite hot and humid. It has been for days. We got a little bit of a break from the most oppressive humidity today, but it's going to be back before we're finished with this week. There's the widespread special air quality statement. Again, we were downgraded in Toronto from a warning to a statement, and we've been downgraded on the air quality health index. We're now at a 6. Not long ago, we were at an 8, and 6 is what we're expecting tonight and for tomorrow. So that's great news, a bit of an improvement. Here's our heat warning, again expanded to include areas like Barrie, Ontario earlier today, and even northern parts of Ontario feeling this heat and humidity. Look at that. It feels into the 30s in most areas. We didn't get quite as hot today in Toronto as it looked like we could have. However, don't get used to that. The heat will be back in a big way tomorrow. Tonight, we are slipping below that 20-degree threshold, which is great news for sleeping. It can be very uncomfortable when the temperature is 20 degrees or higher. Waking up tomorrow morning, you can expect a little bit of hazy sunshine once again. I don't anticipate it's going to be quite as bad as what we experienced today, but likely some haze out there in the morning and then right through the afternoon. Feeling like 36 tomorrow in Oakville, feeling like 34 in Vaughan. And there's a look at the hazy skies you can expect north into the Haliburton area as well. And it's a shame because there isn't any cloud cover otherwise, so we could have been enjoying a beautiful blue sky day. There's some thunderstorm activity across northern parts of our province, including around Timmins, for example. We will have another cloud-free day tomorrow. Then things start to change a little bit as we head into the day on Wednesday. So here's our forecast radar in motion. First, we do get a little bit of an increase in cloud, chance of showers for your Wednesday. Thursday, we've got a front that's going to swing through, so this one brings us not only the chance of showers, but also the risk of a thunderstorm. We're also going to cool down, however, behind that disturbance. So we go from about 32 degrees on Wednesday to 29 on Thursday, and then a seasonal 26 degrees for both Friday and Saturday under a mix of sun and cloud, keeping an eye on Sunday for a few showers. And it looks like that temperature trend could follow us into the early part of next week. That's the weather for now. Michelle, I'll send it over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Also tonight, they are hip-hop pioneers, and they are in the city tonight. WuTang Clan in town on the final chamber tour. We catch up with one of the MCs in moments.
A new study looking at obesity rates found the pandemic was not good for waistlines. Rates, particularly among young adults, rose faster than they had in the previous decade.
And that has raised concerns about the potential long-term impacts. Here's CTV's John Venivalle-Rao.
During COVID, as lockdowns took hold, this was Ontario's premier offering up his famous cheesecake recipe at a time when plenty of people were turning to comfort foods to help them get through the stresses of the pandemic.
Stay safe, stay healthy.
But the pandemic's disruptions to daily life appear to have taken a serious toll on waistlines, with obesity rates growing faster than they had in the previous decade.
It's an entire societal issue that we need to take a look at and think about what that impact of the pandemic has been for everybody.
The study, led by researchers at McMaster, analyzed data over 15 years from nearly 750,000 adults and was based on the body mass index. It found obesity rates went from 25% in 2009 to nearly 33% by 2023, with the rate of increase doubling during the pandemic to roughly 1 percentage point each year.
Especially for young people and for women, the rates of obesity rose at a much higher rate than for other groups during the pandemic.
Obesity can bring with it a higher risk of serious health issues, such as type 2 diabetes and certain kinds of cancer. It's not certain exactly why the rates increased. At the time, schools, gyms, and workplaces closed.
Everybody has to have Chips Ahoy.
And people did spend a lot more time at home, near to their kitchen.
Why would people have more of an intake? Maybe because of the isolation, maybe because of depression. So all these challenges could have led to greater amounts of calories going in.
The study authors suggest the stress of job loss or added responsibilities for caregiving may have also played a role, and they think it's something that deserves more research. John Venivalle-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
In a week, Canada's premiers will be meeting with Prime Minister Carneys to discuss the biggest issues affecting the country. And the Canadian Organization for Rare Disorders is hoping to put the treatment of rare diseases at least near the top of the list. CTV's health reporter Pauline Chan reports.
The rare disease drug strategy was announced in 2019 under the previous Liberal government, but it actually didn't become in effect until 2023.
The deal involves $1.4 billion, the first major financial commitment to the rare diseases community.
Quite frankly, our biggest concern is we haven't seen them spending monies at all. We have no idea where the monies is going. They already have drug plans that they should be covering these drugs. We don't see any extra support for patients. In fact, we see patients being denied treatments.
Cystic fibrosis, muscular dystrophy, sickle cell disease all come under the umbrella of rare diseases.
We say 3.2 million Canadians are living with a rare condition.
And while the money was earmarked for medications,
more than 50% of these people have a really difficult time getting an accurate diagnosis. For a rare condition, sometimes it can take 3 years, 5 years, 7 years to get a diagnosis. In the meantime, you may get up to a dozen misdiagnoses, which is actually a tragedy because you start getting the wrong treatments.
Wong Rieger says it's not that doctors are careless, but they don't get the right training or support.
And we have begged for not a drug strategy, but a rare disease strategy.
What the Canadian Organization for Rare Disorders, or CORD, is calling for is the creation of centers of excellence for rare conditions.
Europe is by far the most advanced in terms of having good national plans. They have European, what they call reference networks that work across, all the 24 countries so they can coordinate and collaborate. You got a disease in Romania, you can see a specialist in Germany.
CORD is calling on the premiers to coordinate centers across the provinces, as the European countries do, to bring equitable access to diagnostics as well as treatments, plus supports for caregivers, especially parents, because 70% of patients living with rare disorders are children. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
The Backstreet Boys are marking a big milestone.
Millennium 2.0. This is it.
This is behind the scenes. The camera's not going to see that.
The boy band is celebrating their Millennium 2.0 album. It's a 25th anniversary record. They shared some behind-the-scenes footage of their recent photo shoot. The pop group also kicked off a 6-week residency at the Sphere in Las Vegas this weekend.
Superstar Shania Twain capped off a hot weekend in the nation's capital. She headlined the main stage at Ottawa Blues Fest last night, drawing a huge crowd. Twain is now headed to Toronto for 2 concerts this week.
And some hip-hop royalty is in our city tonight.
The WuTang Clan will be rocking the mic at Scotiabank Arena. It's part of their last tour called The Final Chamber. CB24's Jiyoung Lee is at a special event leading up to the show and joins us with the exclusive details. G.
Hi there, Nathan. Hi there, Michelle. That's right. We are here at Purple Factory. It's a barbershop/clothing store owned by Raekwon, one of the OG members of WuTang Clan. And they just wrapped up a pre-concert party. They have now left. They're heading to Scotiabank Arena for what will be the final concert for the group here in Toronto. They just played in Montreal last night, made their way to Toronto, had this little party for their fans. But what was really special was Councillor Moyes, who is the councillor for this ward, joined the party along with assistant Raptors coach Jamal Magloire, and together they made a very special presentation to Raekwon, receiving a special certificate from the City of Toronto, thanking him for setting up this fantastic business in the City of Toronto. And we had a chance to speak to Raekwon. Here is that exclusive interview.
Oh man, this is like a birthday again. It's legendary to me. It's like, this is what we do. This is what it's all about at the end of the day. So I'm excited, man. I mean, every time I come here, I come to the factory and we do events. It's always super packed, nothing but love. And a lot of these guys I know personally, just from there, coming around, but it's amazing.
It certainly is. A lot of fans lined up this afternoon for a chance to join this party, have a chance to take photos with Raekwon. Inspecta Deck was also here, one of the members from WuTang Clan. And Raekwon said that Toronto is like a second home to him. He spent a few years living here back in the day. This is why he set up shop here. And again, it's going to be an historic night tonight, the final concert here in Toronto. Once they wrap up here, they will make their way to New York City and wrap things up in Philadelphia on July 18th. And again, the concert title is perfect. WuTang Forever, the final chapter. Final chamber, I should say. We'll send it back to you.
Jian Lee live for us. Jian Lee ain't nothing to mess with. Appreciate it. After the break, finding success amid uncertainty. We catch up with a local company that's found a way to thrive through the trade war.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Like it felt there was something burnt in the air.
Yeah.
And it does. And it is hazy. So it's sort of labored breathing a bit.
Updating our top stories, wildfire smoke has drifted into Toronto, prompting warnings to stay safe. The city had the second worst air quality in the world at one point today, and the conditions could continue until tomorrow. Add to that, we're seeing close to 40 degrees with the humidity. City pools have extended hours and more shelter options are available.
That is absolutely terrible. There is no word can describe that. So what I'm going through, what I'm feeling in my life.
Police were on the hunt for 2 arson suspects after 13 vehicles were burned at a Scarborough auto body shop overnight. The owner says he has no idea anyone would want to do this. The business has been in operation for more than 15 years.
My focus, especially right now, is the people that are going to be hot, and there's so much work that needs to be done.
There have been rumors John Tory could potentially seek a return to the mayor's office. And in a hypothetical matchup, a new poll suggests it would be a close race against Olivia Chow. Tory did not comment on the poll and has said he doesn't have plans to run, at least at this point. On the markets, the Canadian dollar is down slightly to 73 cents. Our fix on Western Canadian Select has it up to $1.47 to 56.47. And the TSX Composite ended up closing at 27,198 points.
The Business Report is brought to you by Canadian Western Bank, the bank built for business.
Uber is launching a new account for seniors. The company says it's aimed at making getting around easier and more accessible for older adults. Uber says the senior account includes larger text and fewer buttons. It also allows people to easily store frequent destinations. The new account was rolled out across the country today.
The Prime Minister is set to meet with his cabinet tomorrow amid ongoing trade negotiations with the U.S.
The meeting comes as the U.S. has threatened to impose 35% import tariffs on August 1st. CTV's Sean Leathong has more on how one business has been coping amid the current economic situation.
Despite the obstacles created by a trade war, this is a company finding a way to thrive. At the Mississauga headquarters of Healthy Crunch, workers are packaging fruit and seed mix that will be shipped all over the world.
I think that what January 2025 taught us with the initial set of tariffs is that you have to diversify your retail customer base.
In a year marked with tariff uncertainty, Healthy Crunch has been able to grow 40%.
Yeah, so here what we're doing is we take fresh
We first spoke to the CEO and founder of Healthy Crunch, Julia Bednarski, last January as they prepared for large-scale growth into the United States and as U.S. President Donald Trump was threatening tariffs.
It's hard to say right now. There's 50% of me says it's going to happen. The other half of me says it's not going to happen.
Healthy Crunch makes healthy, non-allergenic, nut-free, and gluten-free foods. Over the past decade, they've grown to sell at major retailers in Canada, and they started selling into American stores like Whole Foods, Target, and Walmart, despite the tariffs.
It all depends on the raw ingredients, on the packaging. So let's say our granola bars, they have 0% tariffs. Our chia jam has 0% tariffs. But then some of our other products, such as, let's say, our trail mix, because of certain components in the trail mix, they could have up to 14% tariffs on the product.
So far, they've been able to work with partners in the U.S., but as Trump is now threatening 35% tariffs on August 1st,
The challenge there is that many U.S. retailers have already gave notice to a Canadian companies such as ourselves that they will not accept price increases due to tariffs.
So if tariffs go up, Healthy Crunch is expected to absorb the cost. While U.S. growth has been successful to this point, diversification has also helped Bednarski protect her export business.
So we already started to expand into the UK, into Spain, into Asia, Australia.
And there's been an increase in business here in Canada.
People are looking for made in Canada products because they don't want to be affected by tariffs, shipping in products or buying products from the U.S. market. And so it's been a great opportunity for us just to expand our products internationally.
Healthy Crunch proudly marks their packaging with the Made in Canada label, letting customers know that they're buying local. In a year where it's been difficult to plan, this has been their most successful to date. Sean Lee Thong, CTV News.
Just ahead, a massive marmot in Kamloops has gone viral. We get a close-up of the rotund rodent and explain why wildlife experts are not amused. A marmot in Kamloops, BC has become an internet sensation.
A photographer decided to capture some images of the plump animal, saying she had never seen anything like it. Marmots rarely catch the attention of Taylor Borth, but this one was too big to ignore, and it was seemingly happy to pose for pictures in a park last weekend. The pics have been getting a lot of attention online, with wildlife fans showing lots of love for this rodent. It's unclear whether this is perhaps a pregnant female or a male that's been overfed by visitors, which is not allowed.
Meantime, an unlikely friendship is turning heads at the Aspen Valley Wildlife Sanctuary in Muskoka. Ella, a resident moose who's called the sanctuary home since 2015, has struck up a curious bond with Audette and Kobe, two flightless trumpeter swans. Staff say whenever Ella moves into the wetlands sector of the center, the swans greet her and they all hang out. They say the trio's connection is strong, and their story is a reminder of the magic that can happen when animals are given a second chance. Who would have thought?
I know, it's so beautiful. It just warms your heart. Love that trio. You know, we're thinking about the wildfire smoke and the impact. It impacts animals as well. We want this to move out.
Yeah, we do. We want the smoke to move out. I think probably some are ready for the heat and humidity to move out too. That will happen a little later this week, but a reminder that we remain under an air quality special statement right now. We are also under a heat warning. It was expanded to include even more people earlier today. There's tomorrow at a glance. It will be hot, humid, and hazy. A Triple H day once again. 32 degrees is going to feel like 36. If you're looking for relief from the heat, it comes Friday. Hopefully some relief from the wildfire smoke and haze will come a little sooner than that, with some wet weather possible Thursday. Michelle and Nathan.
Thanks, Lindsay. That's it for us, but be sure to join Omar Sachedina tonight at 11 for CTV National News, followed by Zoraida Allman with our next local newscast at 11:30.
Meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison and all of us here at CTV News, thank you for watching and have a great night.